Hello, and welcome to my channel, From Lack to Legacy. On this channel, we're all things money, investing, and mindset. In particular, how to go from a scarcity mindset. That's okay. It says it's having trouble streaming to Facebook. We don't care. We're lucky that we on the air, y'all. First of all, y'all can tell from the background I'm not even at home. So it is what it is. We are here tonight. We're here to fellowship and hopefully share some helpful information with the community. So I'm gonna go back to the intro, y'all, just in case somebody's catching this in the replay. Like we never even talked to each other. Hello, my name is Sandra, and welcome to my channel From Lack to Legacy. On this channel, we're all things money, investing, and mindset. In particular, how to go from a scarcity mindset to a mindset of abundance. If this sounds like something that you're interested in, please stay. If this is your first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you've been here before, you already know the drill. Hit the buttons, hit all the buttons down below. The like button, the subscribe button, the share button, the notification button. We don't even care if you do a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Because for YouTube, all of that is engagement, and it's how we help our channels grow. So I want to thank you all for coming in. Hey, Kia. Hey, ladies. I'm going to address everybody. Hey, H and D. Hey, D. I love my friends. I say this all the time, y'all. I don't have subscribers. I really don't. Because the people that show up in that chat, these are people I know. These are people I interface with for real. Rarely, every now and then, we have somebody in the chat that I don't know or I haven't really spoken to before. So if you are new, you are more than welcome to be here with us. Let me tell you what you've stumbled upon. And from Lack to Legacy, you've known us in the past for investing. I have a 1,000 Black women brokerage account challenge where the charge for me this year is to get 1,000 Black women to open up brokerage accounts and get into the stock market. We also do options trading, really all things money and investing and mindset. I think it's the mindset for us as Black women. It's not that we don't have the money. It's not that we don't have the means. Many times it's our mindset, not having the information, not having an opportunity, and just not having the exposure. And so that's my aim here at From Lack to Legacy, is to say, hey, sis, I did it. And if I can do it at 60, you definitely can do it. So without further ado, let me introduce our
Okay, so Sandra is frozen, so I'm just gonna hop in because she was gonna introduce us in order. So you know that happens when you go live, especially we all over the world right now. I'm in Detroit. I think Sandra is somewhere in Southeast Asia. So if you see her drop off or anyone drop off, just know we're coming right back. And I am Tasha from Tasha Journeys, and I'm so happy to be here with these lovely ladies tonight, talking about money after dark. If you're not familiar with me or my channel, I am all about finance and travel. I took a sabbatical for 13 months, 19 countries, 5 continents, and I help people get their money together by getting them on the road to building a positive net worth and the path to financial freedom. So that is just a little bit about me. When I'm not working with adults or traveling, I have a nonprofit here in Detroit where I'm in the classroom teaching students kindergarten through 12, all about money as well, called Financial Garden. And I think you're going like to my left, right, or that down. So Ashley, I think you're up next if you want to introduce yourself to everyone.
Sure. Good evening, everyone. I am Ashley Steps. I am an attorney licensed to practice in Arkansas and Texas. However, I assist families all over the world. I am also an expat. However, I am stateside at the moment. For my friends that are watching, yes, I am home. They are not used to that. However, I am the dirt, death, and disability attorney. Those are the areas I practice in. More specifically, I do estate planning, elder law, and special needs planning. So for those who are looking to get their estates in order, give some instructions to those spendthrift children of yours, call me. Those of you with special needs children or family members that you want to protect benefits for, give me a call. And for those of you who are in other countries, if you are needing to get your registered agents in order, give me a call. And I will pass it off to Simi.
So, hi everyone. My name is Samira. Everybody calls me Sam, and I'm a mom of three, single mother by choice. I have three young kids now. I am also a money strategist, and I help Black women get their money in order by improving their relationship with money, and help them invest so they can build wealth and make their dreams come true. And so I do live. I'm probably the only one who's not American. I'm Canadian. I live in Ottawa, and we're getting slammed with the snow right now. So I'm one of those who's definitely looking forward to moving abroad in the next couple of years, working actively on that, so I can become team boycott winter for real. So welcome, and Alison, you next.
Hi, everyone. I'm Alison, and I've been a financial coach and educator for 14 years. I'm also a member of the Exodus Summit Group. And in addition to my general practice, um, I have a focus on helping aspiring expats, sabbatical seekers, of which I am one, and nomads who want to strategically plan before they go. Even in some cases, after people have left, there are still some loose ends to be tied up, and I usually help people in that way too. And this resonates with me personally because I am also on a similar journey, and I'm actually in Mexico right now. So, Sam, feeling it, girl. Okay.
Thank you, ladies, both. And everybody already knows, listen, this is no, anybody who follows me, they are no stranger to me popping in and out the doggone live, y'all. My internet is trash. I'm still in Thailand. I've tried everything. I bought the little wireless hotspot that didn't work. I'm at a co-working space, it's still going out. So I've got a feeling it might not be the internet, it might be my interface. And since I'm not technologically inclined, we just gonna roll with it tonight, y'all, because I don't know. So I feel so confident that in the expertise of the ladies that are on the panel. Y'all really don't even need me, I'm just the co-host. They are the, when I tell you these women have the juice, they have the juice. We've covered, I tried to assemble a panel that is representative of the diaspora. I've tried to bring in women from different fields so that if you have a question, you can drop it in the chat. And if you would do me a favor, put 3 Qs. Y'all know I trade QQQ. That was my boo for a long time. So y'all put 3 Qs in front of your question, and that will help me and Marilyn, and I think my son is in the chat too. They can moderate and get those questions up. And if I see the 3 Qs, then I will know that you have a question. But to get it started, I wanted to just share with you guys. We did a poll on my YouTube page. We did a poll for, I don't know, at least the 2 weeks leading up to this broadcast. And I wanted to share some of the results because some of the results were really shocking to me. We put one question up and it was prenup, yay or nay. And if you don't mind, how does the panel feel? Do you all want to chime in before I share the results? Because I'm telling you, I was a little shocked by the results. So Tasha, where do you stand on prenup, yay or nay?
I'm yay. I'm team prenup.
Ashley, where are you on prenups?
I'm sorry, that's not even a question. That's not a question.
You don't ask the attorney about do they think you should have a prenup. I'm sure it's a resounding yay.
Yes.
Sim, what about you?
Team yay.
Alison?
I'm undecided. I don't know.
You all, that is totally reflective of the results I got because the results say 76% were like, heck yeah. I mean, when I tell you the results came in so fast, people were hitting that yes button like, yep, we going for the prenup. It was 76% said yes, 18% said, I'm not sure. And 6% of the respondees said, no, never, never, never. Love conquers all. I don't know, y'all. Y'all know I'm team gay. I'm sorry. I have a personal experience because I've been married twice. And the first time, we were young, we didn't have anything. So it was nothing to really lose. But the second time around, and I didn't get a prenup, but I know better now. I had two children, I had a house, I had been on my job, I had a pension at stake. And while it never came up in the divorce, I shared this with you all before. You know how contentious a divorce can be. If you've never had a divorce or been a part of one, I pray that that never is your experience, because it was definitely my experience. And because we were fighting like people fight when a marriage ends, it wasn't anything drastic. My ex called me one day while I was driving, and I'm telling you, he said, I'm entitled to half of the house and your pension. When I tell you all my blood pressure, I swear to you, I think I blacked out. I had to pull over. I had to pull my car over to the side of the road. I said, you know what, sir? If you think it's going to be a house left by the time we get to the end of this, I promise you, it'll be bricks and rubble. It'll be dust, because I worked for that house. I raised my kids in that house, and the thought of someone for real, and he was saying what was real and true. According to the law, he would have had, was entitled to part of it. Well, he was a good guy, y'all. My cousin, she was like, Sandra, he's just jerking your chain. He knows how to get you riled up, and that's what it was. But if you are a mother, I was a single mom, of course, when I married my second husband. Again, I had all those things already in place. That's what's at stake. Do you guys on the panel want to chime in? Anybody have anything to add to that? Because I know from personal experience, it's nothing to play with.
I think someone put a great comment there. It's like, um, you actually have a prenup based on the state where you got married, because that's something that we don't look into. So it's either you're going to be sitting and doing a prenup yourself, and so when something happens, you have a document. It's like the will as well, like, put a will in place, or the state will decide how they're going to be distributing your assets. So you better be, you better just be be ready, like, be prepared. Of course, nobody wants to get married. Nobody's getting married hoping to get divorced. I do not think that's the way people think. But unfortunately, right now you have 50% of marriages that actually end in divorce, and money is a huge, 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 subject of contentious. So you really want to make sure to have the prenup in place, and that doesn't mean you don't love your partner. Actually, it means that you love them enough to actually think, when things are not gonna go well, how we want things to be, the money to be distributed. So either you do it, or the government will take care of that for you.
Yeah, maybe you check your state laws before you decide to get married in that state. Pick a state. Jokes, jokes, all jokes.
Pick a state that's pro woman. I mean,
You should absolutely check your state laws, because there are still a couple of states, if you're stateside, there's still a couple of states that recognize common law marriage. So even if you don't go get that certificate recorded and make it down the aisle, you could still be in a marriage. So be careful.
I say at least, I know similar to what you were saying to me about, like, people are like, oh, I don't want to think about the end when we're just getting started. I'm always like, okay, do you know each other's net worth? People usually don't know that, right? So do you know how much liability this person has before you even marry them? Let's just get it all on the table. Like, if you don't want to have a prenup conversation, and if you're not comfortable having the money conversation, not just what's your credit score, let's pull up our credit reports. Let's look at how much debt we got. Like, what does this person have assets? You should be having that conversation and put it all on the table. And I guarantee you, if you do, you may be looking like, I never thought about a prenup, but you may be looking like this. We may not be equally yoked financially, so I may need to get one. So that's just what I say.
I agree. That was definitely my situation. But you all, I went in, there were red flags all over the place. Don't be like me. The purpose of us sharing and discussing these things out loud, if someone had had this discussion with me before, I would have considered it. I, like many women, felt the same way. I'm marrying this man because I love him. I plan to be here for forever. And forever may not be the dream. It may not be the fantasy. So ladies, we want everyone to protect your assets, protect what you bring into the marriage. And to be honest with you guys, even more so than protecting the things, it would have saved us so much angst at the end because things would have been settled. There would have been some things we didn't even have to discuss. And it would have just taken some things off the table, made it a little easier for us to part ways and be friends. Ultimately, we were friends anyway, but it was a process. It wasn't like we just, decided we were going to split and it was amicable every step of the way. It was not. And if I had it to do again, which I hope and pray I will, I don't know if anybody been married, I would do it again. I've been married twice and I would still do it again. I believe in love. I believe in love. Anybody on the panel been married or would do it, of course, with a prenup. What
Not
do you
married,
think?
but engaged. And prenup was definitely a discussion.
Yeah. Anybody else want to chime in?
I've been married. I don't know. I still can't make up my mind about the prenup.
Yeah.
I, I think it sometimes it causes some fighting. Um, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I feel you on that one, but I promise you, having gone through it twice, I would rather not even duke it out, but I would rather get it all on the table, like Tasha said in the beginning, and have those, because for me that's insightful too. How you solve that problem on the beginning when everybody is calm. I think it says so much about the two people, how you problem solve. That would have been insightful for me because I would have known if he had brought it up like, well, I'm entitled to some of this, or do you feel like we are now a couple, and no, 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 not what's mine is yours, what's ours is ours, not what I came in here with. So we could have hashed some of that stuff out, but I think it is an individual thing. But buyer beware, know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah.
So that question was pretty interesting. I do have this quick question. I'm going to put it up
Oh,
because I
Sandra,
see it. Yes.
I just want to add something about the prenup. So the way I see it, for me, it's a bit like an insurance contract. Like, the way you have insurance on your house or on your car. You pay for it, but you don't want to get into an accident, or you really don't want to have any issue in your house. But if you have an issue with your house or with your car, that insurance will help you. And so I honestly see the prenup like that. The second thing, the way I see the prenup is that, yeah, maybe it forces, but in a way, we have heard so many people, discovering about some money aspect of their partner after they were married. And so it kind of like, I guess forces the two people to have the real money conversation before it becomes serious, because the last thing you want to find out is that, I don't know, that, your now husband, he's, I don't know, he's bankrupt or like something like that, just to
Or
give.
owes the IRS $30,000. I'm
Yeah,
sorry that.
but for real, because at the end of the day, you're going to be putting your stuff together, and you really don't want that kind of surprise. I was engaged once, and I found out after we were engaged, getting ready for the marriage, that my future, the person who was supposed to be my future husband had like so many collections, and I'm someone who's a very good steward of my money, and I'm like, and I found out by myself, that was the mail we got at our place, and it was really suspicious to me. So I asked him, and he was like, yeah, and he was trying to brush it, like, make it like it's nothing. I'm like, collections, it cannot be nothing, all right? So just to say, right? So, and we never really had a money conversation per se, so, but if I were to go ahead and marry that person, I knew back then that I would have a prenup in place, because clearly we were not seeing money management the same way.
I think we need to stop being scared and ask the questions, because I won't say we're the only ones out here not asking the questions, but we not asking the questions. So why? Why are you afraid to protect yourself? We see it every day. Like on social media, somebody is saying, "Oh, I'm getting divorced, such and such cheated or such and such lied." Okay, no, there are too many free resources and free tools for you to find out this information. If you are to the point where you're committing your life to someone and you don't know what they own, what they owe, and who they owe it to, I'm sorry, we have a problem. We have a
Listen, I'm
problem.
with you on that all the way. I did see. I know Sandra it dropped, but I did see a question in here about. Oh, she's back, so I'll let her do the question.
No, I need you all to step in for me seriously. I think I sent
Okay.
everybody the survey questions. So why don't we just roll down the survey questions and then we can interweave the questions from the gallery too. Because I got a feeling I'm just gonna be popping in and out. And plus, y'all got the juice. It's all about y'all for real. So I'll take the question that's up on the screen. Did we deal with this one? She says, "How will I know which of these wonderful women would be a good fit to get my finances right?" And so I'll just say this in the description of this video. You have what each one of our esteemed panelists does. You have their contact information as well. And when I tell you, if you have a question and that these four women can't answer your question, I don't know what to tell you because we have on every end of the spectrum. We have someone who's been in personal finance for over a decade. We have an attorney, we have a CPA, and Sim does everything money, from money mindset to helping you get your finances, budgeting, and Tasha does too. So you can't go wrong, but check out the description box. I have all of their contact information and feel free to reach out to them. Thank you. So you all want to go with the next survey question? It was about, would you lend money to family members? How do you feel, or how do you handle lending money to family or friends? And then I'll share the results with you guys. Y'all want to chime in?
I would lend money to family members, but not really lend. I would give it to them what I can spare and won't miss. So it's not really a loan, but you may have one or two family members that you have that confidence in, and that that they're going to pay you back, that it's for a worthy cause. Maybe you're investing together, or you have those one-off events, but by and large, no. It's a gift,
Mhm.
not a loan.
I
Ashley,
agree.
oh, I'm sorry. Go, Tasha.
No, I was gonna say I agree with everything Alison said. Like I have less than one hand people in my life that I know would actually pay me back. So typically it's a no because I don't have no money to give away. So that's just where I stand on it.
I don't loan money.
Period. That's the attorney. You hear how cut and dry. The attorney is like, nope, we don't loan money. We're getting a prenup. It's all business. Ashley is really all business. I think the tagline, and I picked this one for her because I know Ashley. She said her tagline for me was, "I do not play about my money." Ashley does not play when it comes to money. So I can already tell y'all tonight it's gonna be cut and dry. She's not gonna. She's a woman of very few words. It's gonna be like, nope, 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 and no. I don't care who you are. No. Sim, what
So
about?
I have done it. I have done it in the past. The whole loaning money to friends and family, and I've been burned. Burned. We're not talking about a couple of $100. We're not talking about a couple of $1,000. I have been burned. So now my philosophy is just like Alison. If I can, for me, it's just like, how much you need? And in my mind, even if you ask me for a loan, in my mind, I'm like, how much can I give you? And even if I don't see that money coming back, I'm totally fine with it. And I'm not going to be asking you even for that money. If you say for 3 months and the 3 months come, you don't say anything about it, I'm not asking you about it. And we cool. Because in my mind, that money is already gone. So if it comes back, fine. If it doesn't, fine. So I have been, because I used to get really upset and mad and boil my blood. And I'm like, this doesn't work. So just gonna have. So that also makes me comfortable saying no. If I have other plans for my money, I'm not going to be taking from my line of credit to give you the money just because you need it. That's not happening anymore. It had happened in the past. It's not happening anymore. So I'm more mindful about how I actually navigate that now.
I respect that. I really do. The survey, when we did the poll, always, I'm telling you, y'all surprised me. 48% said depends on the family and the friend and the amount. 44% said never. Absolutely flat out, never. Don't ask. It doesn't matter. Family and friends and money don't mix. And then 8%, I'm shocked by the 8% that said always, without hesitation, you can come get my money. I really wish I knew who that was because I would have you in my speed dial. It's like, really? That's how you feel about it? I think I'm more in agreement with you ladies. I have one family member, my brother. Everybody knows, like, my brother is my everything, my baby brother. He is the one person on the planet who can call me and say just about anything because that's just how we roll. Now, recently, and he knows this, he can call me and ask me for, because his credit is good with me. He has borrowed money from me in the past, and when my brother says he's going to pay you back, he's going to pay you back. I don't care what happens, come hell or high water. He's a man of his word, and I respect that. So I don't, I never really think twice. However, I was recently in Vietnam, and he called me, and he's asked me for, I was like, whoa, brother, hold tight. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That's more than you've ever asked me for. And so it was tough, but I had to say, I can't do that number. I can do this because, Sim, I'm with you. I've never been burned before, but I knew I wanted to be comfortable that if I let it go and I never see it again, I'm okay. It didn't matter to me, even though I know he will pay me back no matter what. With every breath in his body, he's going to make sure he gets that money back to me. But that number made me uncomfortable. I didn't feel comfortable in my own finances letting go that chunk of change. I was like, nah, brother, I love you. You know I do. But this one, I'm going to have to say with some conditions. I can give you this, but not that. So I think that is just wise counsel.
Yeah.
You can afford to let it go.
Yeah. And someone mentioned in the comment, the whole co-signing aspect. My first job was at a bank. And it was in the call center. So many, especially parents and and older siblings calling, not understanding what actually co-signing means and finding themselves in like hot water and be like, well, no, my I don't know, my son just asked me to sign here. I thought was just, I don't know, like kind of like as a, I don't know, like they didn't understand the whole thing about co-signing. And for me, co-signing is the same as you essentially giving the money. You are as responsible. So you need to be comfortable if a family member asks you to co-sign anything with them. You need to be comfortable. You need to be comfortable that they're doing that, and because you know that they're going to be holding their end of the bargain, that they're going to be paying. Because if they don't pay, then you become responsible for it. And so, yeah, that's one thing that just want to highlight.
Sim, I'm glad you caught that because I didn't catch that because I'm with Ashley on this one. This is where I draw the line. Legal documents? Oh, no. I'm not putting my name on the legal documents. An agreement between me and you, that's one thing. We can fall out at Thanksgiving. We can not talk back again till Valentine's Day. We can do all of that within our relationship because, that's what families do. Friends do that. That's on the strength of that relationship. But a legal document, oh, no, ma'am, you'll never call me in the court talking about, oh, you're responsible because Johnny Boo Boo didn't do what he was supposed to do. No, ma'am. That's why I draw the line personally. I would never, I'm not co-signing for anybody. And I mean that. I probably even take that position with my children because I don't want to fall out with you about a legal document. Now, you were irresponsible and now I have to pay. But I tap out. I don't know. The gallery was pretty clear on that as well. They were kind of split down the middle with 8% saying, I'll give you no matter what. That's not, I'm not in.
Call me. That 8% call me.
They need some support. Ashley, do they need some redirection?
I need some support.
Yes, if you were in the 8%, drop your name in the chat. We need to know. Everybody on the panel needs a loan. We need money. Okay, and I want to move it along, ladies, because I really want to respect your time. Sim is a mom, y'all, and so we want to. Sim's got the most adorable three boys, and so we want to be respectful of Sim's time. So I'm going to keep it moving. I'm going to hit this next question. The next one is: would you ever keep a secret stash of cash from your partner? And I will review. I'll leave the results until after you guys chime in.
Yes. But I think most partners know that, the lady's got a secret stash.
Is that true? Really? I didn't keep
Yeah,
a
I think
secret
I think
stash.
people know that.
Yeah.
I, I'm,
Um.
I'm pleading. But no, I mean, I do agree with a little bit with Alison. Like most people know that. I mean, I have not been married. Like I said before, I've been engaged, and so I believe in we have a joint account. Like hopefully, my future partner is like he and I will understand joint account, and then bills paid, and we have our plans together, and then we got our own whatever, so separate stuff. So I don't consider that a secret stash, but I guess
It's not secret. You just don't. You can't have it. It's.
yeah, like.
I'm very honest. If you ask me about it, absolutely. Can you access it? No. No.
Y'all some bad sisters. I'm telling
It's
you. So you keep the stash and it's a public, everybody knows. Your spouse, your partner, your other significant other knows I got a stash over here.
it's not a stash. It is. I believe in when it comes to money. I believe in full transparency. We're not playing the games. We have, if we're in a committed relationship, we have joint goals. So if we're trying to go buy this triplex, duplex, whatever, all right, so here's what I can contribute. It may or may not be half. Here's what you can contribute. It may or may not be three-fourths of it. But we have the goal and we have the expectations of what each person is bringing. So I don't need a stash. Here is what we're doing. This is the plan. This is the goal.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's so much of what I was saying. Like, we have a joint account for our bills. We should have common goals together. And you got your money, and then I got my money. We got the house money and gold money. So yeah.
Sim, what you think?
What they said.
That's how I got in trouble, y'all. First of all, wait a minute. I've been married twice. Everybody knows that. But I will say this. I've never had a joint checking account. I mean, that was, if I had it to do over again, you all, I think, Ashley, I hear some truth in everyone's position. I think in hindsight, I would go for full transparency, and I got married so young, we didn't know what the heck we were doing. I told you the first time we didn't have nothing. So it was nothing to hide. So I didn't have a secret stash. I didn't have a stash at all. I thought money was for spending. That's probably why on this end of life, at this time, I'm so adamant about talking about money and getting this information out to women, Black women in particular, because I made all of those mistakes. Nobody in my family ever talked about money. I just didn't have the proper, I won't even say proper training. It just was something that was off the tables because we didn't have any money to discuss. But having experienced all those things, that is not the right answer. I think having these open discussions about how you handle things and looking at it from all angles is going to be what's helpful and beneficial for sisters that are trying to build wealth, leave a legacy. You don't want to have to undo all these mistakes. That's where I found myself, midway the journey. I was like, oh, heck, you got to be intentional about your money. So I was smart enough. I don't even say smart enough because I think, Ashley, you're right. In a marriage, there should be full transparency and that you should be able to at least have a joint checking account because you have a joint goal. You could
Yeah.
clearly tell we were too young and too inexperienced to be doing and trying to navigate those things. I did all the wrong things, and I promise you, it's why I want to have these conversations so that maybe we can help somebody else. Because I know that there are ladies in the gallery that are single, that are young in their 30s, 20s, and 30s, and they can benefit from these conversations. So let me tell you what the gallery said. They said 78% said absolutely yes. We keep a stash. It's my rainy day fund. 11% said nope. Honesty is always the best policy. So they didn't say they wouldn't keep a stash, but they wouldn't keep it secret. And then 11% said depends on how much I'm in love. That would have been me because I was totally in love. The second time, you couldn't tell me nothing. What do you mean? We love each other, and money is for spending. All wrong, all wrong, all wrong. So, thank you, ladies. I'm going to do one more, and then just so that we can move this along, we're going to take the questions from the gallery because I really do see some. I mean, I see some deep questions.
Oh. Is she still there?
No, she said she's taking questions from the gallery. It was after the best work with question. I don't know. I guess we can scroll up to the top.
I'll answer one I just answered in the chat. Someone asked about the special needs trust and the ABLE account. They work together. They are meant to be paired together. So you, depending on what benefits you're receiving, that will determine which road you need to pursue as far as a special needs trust. So if you are receiving Medicaid, SNAP, any of the public benefits, then yeah, you need a conversation. But if you're doing your estate planning, you've already done your estate planning and now you want to add a special needs trust, then yeah, you could do what's called a third party special needs trust. So it is an estate planning trust for individuals with special needs.
Okay, I saw a question for me. I can't find it now, but I just said
your estate.
Oh, I'm sorry. Keep going.
Okay, maybe we can answer the question from HND here, where she asked, will a prenup make for a simpler divorce, like a lower cost? Yes. I'll let Ashley take that one.
So I'm gonna give you the lawyer answer. It depends. That's our favorite answer. It just applies because just because you have a prenup doesn't mean the other party's not going to fight it. It just makes it a little, if it's executed correctly, it makes it easier for the judge to make a decision. Usually.
And that's way outside of my purview, so I have to defer to the experts on the panel. I have no clue. So there's another question. There were two questions about the prenup. One, does it make it easier? And does it affect the cost? So here's another question. Did you get this one, Tasha? It's directed for you. It says, I have an IRA and a small dollar amount that is only collecting interest. Can I roll it over into a Schwab IRA and use it to invest in the market?
I had saw it and then I was looking for it again. So do they have it in they have an employer IRA and they want to pull it into their own IRA? I was trying to look at it so I can read the question.
That's Helen. So Helen, if you're in the gallery, can you give us some clarification on your question? I'll read it again. It says, I have an IRA with a small dollar amount that is only collecting interest. Can I roll it over into a Schwab IRA and use it to invest in the market? So I don't know. You need to know if it's an employer IRA?
Yeah, because I'm just trying to confuse on what she need. Why I'm assuming yeah, because she's saying she wants to roll it over to a non-employer IRA is what I'm assuming. And I was gonna say if it's with anything with an employer and you're not there anymore, I always suggest that you roll it over, make sure it's institution to institution so you won't get taxed on it. And the reason is from rolling it over from your employer to your own, like a Charles Schwab or Fidelity, is because you have more options to pick from when it comes to the different mutual funds and ETFs and stuff like that. That's why I'm always an advocate for rolling it over and you controlling it out of an employer IRA, employer 401k, and rolling it over if you can. So hopefully that answers the question. But if you have an individual IRA, you want to change institutions, I don't understand that question because let's say you have it with Vanguard, you have an IRA with Vanguard, and it's yours. It doesn't really make sense to roll it over to a Charles Schwab because you can still make the same similar selections with Vanguard as your own IRA. So that's where I'm a little confused on. Okay, no employer, yeah. So yeah, I would suggest that you roll it over to an IRA so you can own it yourself. That means you have a lot more funds to choose from. So for example, my old employer, we had 15 options of mutual funds to choose from versus rolling it over to Vanguard. I got hundreds. Fidelity, you have thousands of options to choose from. So hopefully that helps. If not, let me know in the comments below.
Then I'm
I
going
see
to
a
go
really interesting question from Kristen Green for Ashley.
I'll scroll through the question. Is at the bottom?
No, it's at 8:39. Yeah, that one.
It's a hilarious question and a very good question at the same time. So we are going to assume that the question means hiding from the person you are about to marry, not the government. Do estate planning. Remove things from your estate prior to getting married. Divorces divide personally owned assets, and you also have to manage it correctly. So a lot of times people don't want to follow my instructions. I'm gonna be real specific. My instructions, when I say do this, it is because you paid me to give you this advice. So get your estate planning done.
I didn't even know that that was an option that you could move those things around. I guess so. What is that like? Could you put it in a trust or something to, yeah,
We
okay.
have all types of options when you're single.
Right. Make sure you do it before you tie that knot.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't know if you
Very spicy, Chanel.
there was an article. I didn't read the whole article, but the gist of it was there was a guy, he like passed out because he found out that essentially the triplex that they were living in one unit. If he thought that they were kind of like renting, but if he found out that actually the triplex belonged to his wife. I don't know exactly how, and they were married for quite a few years before he found out, and he was so shocked that he literally passed out. So I don't know,
She wasn't being transparent at all.
definitely no, because like I said, they were living in a place that actually she owned, but she was acting as they were she was renting, that they were renting essentially. So money, it's really it's a touchy subject. It is really a touchy subject.
Okay, I'm going to put up another question from the chat. It says, if a company does not match 401k, should I still contribute or use that money to invest in the stock market?
I would say if your company is not matching, you might still want to make a little contribution there just to have that automatic savings happen. But you may not want to put in everything or do the max. You might want to consider a Roth IRA to get those tax benefits later on down. And because you're really not getting you're not getting any free money there, so why don't you leverage some tax benefits with a Roth? You can do both. You can do both, or you
Thank
can
you.
do.
Anybody
Yeah.
else want to jump in?
I would just say it just depends on, if you want to play around with your tax brackets or not. So for me, like if you can move to a different tax bracket by contributing to your 401k, I would encourage you to consider that. So let's say, you could be in a 30% tax bracket and move to 24%, or if I'm just making up bracket numbers. I don't know. I don't have nothing in front of me, but that's something you should consider. That's if you want to max it out. Most people are not putting in 22,500 into their 401k. But it is something to consider because you can change what tax bracket you're in because it's all pre-tax dollars. But I definitely agree with Allison. If that's not the case, if you're not thinking about tax planning from a 401k standpoint, you can do a Roth IRA. But sometimes you can also consider, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, if you are what age you are, and if you are leaving your employer soon, after being fully, well, you don't have to worry about being invested because there's no match. But consider if you want to roll that over to a Roth after you leave, because you can get the tax benefit of like lowering your tax bracket. And then also when you leave the employer, putting it over to a Roth IRA, you have to pay tax on it at that point. But if you put yourself in a different tax bracket after you quit, you could be in good standing. So, for example, when I went on sabbatical, my 401k, if I'm not working for a year, that means my income is essentially zero. I do have real estate and other things coming in, but I could decide, let me roll this over into a Roth. My taxable income is zero, so let me roll it over to a Roth now while I'm on my sabbatical and I have no tax. So that's just some examples I'm giving you. So it just all goes back to, are you doing effective tax planning? Is my suggestion.
So you definitely want to reach out to those two ladies. If you've got some tax questions, if you've got
Tax
some questions
planning.
about financial planning. Yes, Allison,
Tax
go.
planning is so important. I mean, it could break you, could make you really consider tax planning across everything you do financially. It really helps.
It would, and I'm sure tax planning is just as important for small business owners as individuals. Do you ladies, either of you, do tax planning for small businesses? Because I know many of us have YouTube channels that we are starting our own businesses online and whatnot. So would you advise that we reach out to either of you in terms of planning for our small business? I know I just started not even a year ago. So
I mean, I do know some about taxes, but I would recommend a professional. I do work cross channels with tax professionals and attorneys to help my clients. We kind of we kind of straddle those different areas sometimes, and sometimes one professional needs to work with another. So for pure tax advice, I would suggest a tax professional. I may be able to guide you some, but I may have to reach out to a tax professional like Tasha or someone just to get some more in-depth information, or send you straight to her.
Yeah, I was gonna say I have some referrals. I don't do tax planning for businesses. I would say I have some referrals, but also um, consider what state you're in. Like Michigan, I'm in Michigan, so we pay state taxes. So that's a whole different beast. It's not just thinking about federal; it's also thinking about state, where you could live in Texas and you don't have any state taxes or whatever. So definitely want to consider, what that person, if they're in the same state as you or not. So I definitely have some referrals that I can drop in here after the replay, or I'll actually drop my email somewhere in the chat if you, I can email it to you.
and then if that information, when I get it from you ladies after the show, I can also add to the description. So anything additional resources, check the description of this video. And I popped up another question, and this one's for Ashley. I don't know if you address
if
this
I can
one.
shout out actually one of my referral sources is in the chat. I keep seeing her pop up. So Anderson Law Firm is in the chat for those business planning questions. So
Yes. Well, hello, Anderson Law Firm. Is that, I'm just asking, is that a minority-owned business? I know it's a female, and it's a sister to a girl. Yes, I'll be talking to you because you don't want any trouble. I'm telling you, there's some folks you don't want trouble with: the FBI, the CIA, the IRS, and God. I don't want no smoke and from none of those. None. So I will definitely be reaching out. Ashley, I think this question might be for you. I don't know if you handled this one. It says, I'm disabled and invest in an ABLE 529 account. However, I hear there are benefits to special needs trust. Can SNT stand alone, or does it need to be a part of a broader estate plan? That's a mouthful.
I did answer this question, but I will repeat the answer. Yes, it can stand alone. The 529 and the special needs trust, they go hand in hand. You can have them both.
Okay, here's another one, and I'm not sure, this one's probably beyond me too. It says, please talk about domicile for expats. I'm assuming expats that are living abroad and how that affects them either finances or legal wise. Anybody? Or is this,
That may be a tax question, where you're domiciled and your tax requirements, maybe?
Yeah, I know that what like I just mentioned, like Michigan, we have income tax, state income tax. So what some people may do, it may say I'm a domicile in a state that doesn't have state taxes, income tax, like Texas or Florida, Tennessee. I can't remember, it's 9 of them. So they officially make sure they move on paper or in theory, like you need to have all your major accounts addressed to a state address in Houston, not Houston, in Texas. I guess I'm giving away what I was doing. In Texas or a state that doesn't have income tax before you move. And you need to actually have your driver's license changed over there before you move out of state. So, for example, like I knew I was going to be gone for a year. I was hoping I was never going to come back. So I'm like, all right, basically, I don't have a home address here. Where do I want to domicile to before I move? Houston. Okay, am I going to move to Houston when I came back? I thought I was, or whatever. So before I moved out of the country, let me move and get some stuff established in Texas, where I don't have to worry about paying state income tax. So this means like you want not an attorney, but in the eyes of a law, like, are you living there? Right. So is your license there, your insurance there, all of this stuff? It's not like, oh, I'm just going to get my address on one bank account. Like domicile, like mean like you are fully living there on paper before you leave, because you are going to be an expat, I'm assuming. So you don't really have a home, but on paper in the US, you live in a state that doesn't have income tax.
You
Is what
also
I was
need to ask some additional questions. You need to answer some. Are you a self-employed expat? And are you self-employed by a business that is registered? Because let me tell you, Texas butts heads when it comes to business entities. So you have your franchise tax, you have your filing fees. Last time I looked, it was $500 to register a foreign business in Texas. So keep that in mind. Also, you also want to look at the threshold of the income tax. Arkansas does charge income tax where Texas does not. But the cost of living, so other things that I pay in Texas outweigh the taxes that I'm going to pay in Arkansas. So it's spreadsheet worthy. Now, you also, if you're not self-employed and you work for a company, you need to talk to HR. Like I said, I'm real honest. I don't lie well because I can't remember to lie. So it's just easier to tell the truth. So I know all about using the VPN and but that doesn't always work. And if your company is not licensed to do business in the state that you are now moving to, that's a whole problem. It is a whole problem. So
whole problem.
And then you also need to look at where you're going. Most of us on here are Black or people of color. So people tell on us for no reason. So you could be chilling in Thailand on your computer and they will go to the police station and say, yo, that Black person over there is working. And I don't think they have a visa to work here. You got a problem.
Yep. I can speak from experience, you all. I dropped into a Facebook chat, stay out of Facebook chats, stay out of Facebook groups, an expat Facebook group, asking about the very internet problem that you all are witnessing in real time. And I simply said, I dropped into two, of course, a brothers and sisters of, and then another one, mainstream, innocently asking, I'm working online because I wanted to give context. I just said, I need Zoom. I'm doing meetings online. And don't you know some clear person, and I'm being so nice because when I tell you we had it out in that chat, don't go look because you would not be proud, or you might be because baby, I was in there giving it to him. A clear person chimed in and said, "Do you have the correct?" First of all, y'all, I'm here 60 days on a tourist visa. Sir, mind your business. Mind your business. But it absolutely happens. And then a nicer person, I'm sure of the clear persuasion, chimed in and said, Sandra, people aren't this, snarky in this chat all the time, but be careful because there are people like they live for it. They troll those chats just so that they can stir up trouble because they have nothing else to do. So I can speak to that one from experience. And I learned a very valuable lesson. You need to be just very private about what information you're disclosing in spaces that you have not vetted. That was such a rookie mistake on my part, being innocent, because I know I'm not breaking the law. I know, I have a tourist visa. I can come and go as I please. I don't live here full time. I don't plan to be here for as a matter of fact, I leave on the 21st. So I know this, but that person was dead set on causing me some angst in questioning about, my visa status. Of all the nerve, y'all, if you get it, don't check it out because when I tell you, oh my goodness, you can't beat me at a word. We verbally sparring up in here. Oh, I'm gonna give it to you. For my grandmama, for my mama, for everybody who ever had to bite their tongue in your presence. Oh, you getting it today, sir? Oh, you getting it, man? We went at it for a while until I had to just say, you know what, this is fruitless, but it happens. So be careful what you disclose when you're out traveling in the world. That's just good advice for anybody who's solo traveling, all of that. I'm very careful about guarding that in terms of my safety. But it never dawned on me that someone would be so malicious to even question my visa status. What? But I'm sure people are out there trying to work, whatever they're doing. That wasn't the case for me, but yeah, be careful. I know the questions seem kind of all over the place, you guys, but I sure appreciate y'all for hanging in there because the women are on it. Y'all are on this. This next question comes from Yvette. And Yvette says, should you invest into dividend stocks in your retirement accounts if you want to live off the dividends instead of selling them? I'm thinking of the RMDs, and I don't even know. Well, is that the required minimum distribution? Okay.
Yes,
But
it is. It
you
is.
guys.
And RMDs are required minimum distributions. I think they just changed the law beginning this year for what age, or was it last year? What age you are required to take a distribution from your retirement accounts if you have to take a certain amount. It used to be 70 and a half, and now it might be like 72 or 73. If you don't take, some people have retirement accounts that they don't take distributions from because they're able to live off of other monies. And some people do take, but are you taking enough when you're at that age? Are you taking the minimum the IRS wants you to take? Because IRS wants their money. And if you don't take the RMD, they're going to kind of triple penalty you. So always be careful of that when you get to that age. The age can change, so make sure you know what age you're required to take those withdrawals. Make sure you're taking enough. Your tax person can help you with that. Can tell you, what's the amount that you need to take. Um, should you invest in dividend stocks in your retirement accounts? Sure, but you want to do the numbers. You want to make sure that the numbers work for you. Do you have enough for it to make sense? Um, and if you're going to do that, a good way to do it is to kind of stagger them. Let's say some pay quarterly, some pay annually or semi-annually. You can design it to fit your lifestyle, but you should do the numbers first. And we've got Dee in the Exodus group who talks about dividend stocks all the time. She's got a great channel on YouTube. Sandra, do you know her? I don't remember her
Yes,
name.
it's Brown Girls Invest too. D,
Yes.
she's, I think she was in Guadalajara. I'm not sure where she is now. Yes, you
Mhm.
definitely want to tap into D because she knows a lot about 401ks, a lot about retirement planning, and all matters of retirement planning. Thank you for saying that, Allison, because we always shout out our sisters over here.
Oh, yeah, she's
Yeah.
great.
Uh-huh. Anybody else? Sam, I saw you shaking your head. Anything you want to add to that?
I'll just reiterate, like, getting money from your dividends always it's always enticing because you don't have to sell the stocks. But again, like the dividend um, percentage is like maybe, I don't know, 5, 6, 7%. So how much do you need to have in your portfolio to be able to live off your dividend? That could be a good chunk of money, and that could require you to invest for many, many years before you get to that point. So um, I usually suggest to people, that might not be the only way for you to draw from your investment. It could be a portion of your income, and then the rest will be selling maybe some stocks. But it's very difficult, except if you have started very young and you stick with dividend investing from the beginning. It's really difficult to have a portfolio where you only getting the money from the dividend, and that your portfolio is also stable. Something to look into.
I just want to stop right here because, ladies, aren't you all getting some wonderful information from this panel? I'm so proud of y'all. So I just want to stop and do like a little mini commercial because too, Tasha has her own YouTube channel. It's Tasha Journeys. So you all get over there and subscribe. That's how you show your love. Clearly, if you're here in this gallery, in this chat, and you're asking questions about money, you're interested in her content. Go support my sister. I want her to come back and tell me, Sandra, girl, I saw a big old bump in my YouTube subscriber count. I want to see that. Simi has a YouTube channel as well, Black Women Build Wealth. Simi did a whole conference. Simi, was it the first one that you did this year? Last year was the first
Last
one.
year, yeah, the Wealthy Black Women Summit, that was in November 2023, for all Black women looking at building wealth. That's what the summit is about. Yeah.
My friends do big things. Go support those channels right now. And I will say this, if you don't think that you're going to really watch and consume the content, at least go over and share the channel. You can like a video, share a video, because if you're not going to consume the content, it doesn't benefit the YouTuber for you to just sit in their subscriber count. But there's so many free ways that you can support a sister. And I know that's what we're about in this community. We are about sharing information. We don't gatekeep over here. You see, these women have carved out time from their busy schedules to share with you freely information that you would have to pay somebody else to sit and talk with them. So just as a kind gesture, could you please go support those two YouTube channels? And Allison, I've been trying to get Allison to do a YouTube channel. I don't know if Allison is on, if she's up to it or if she's in that thing, but is there some way, Allison, is there a website, your IG? How can
I have an IG account. It's at Asset Maven, ASSETMAVEN.
I've included that information in the description, but I wanted you to hear directly from the ladies. And Ashley, how can people get in touch with you?
They can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. It's what Ashley dot said on all of those, I believe.
Across all social media platforms. You all do the right thing. Go support my sisters. We all want to prosper. So we're here to help you. If you could do that small thing for us, I would definitely appreciate it. So I'm going to switch to a question, and then I'm going to go to some of the questions that we got before, and we're going to try to put a bow on this, ladies, and say goodnight. One of the questions from Elle says, does Ashley help set up trusts?
Absolutely.
There you go.
Absolutely. I'll drop my booking link in the chat. I think it's in the description already, but I'll drop it. I am licensed in Arkansas and Texas. However, if you are international, it doesn't matter. We can draft an appropriate estate plan for you. If you are located in the States, I am a member of the National Bar Association, the Real Property Trust and Estate section, so I can absolutely connect you with a Black estate planning attorney in your state.
All right, I found another question in the gallery, and I understand, Sim, if you have to go, when I tell y'all Sim has the most precious boys, precious, 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 I won't even get started. The grandmama and me gets all mushy. She's got the most precious babies. So Sim, if you have to leave us, we definitely understand. I just want to thank you, Sim, for helping me with this inaugural launch. Thank you, ladies. Here's
I'll stick around for a little while. You guys are
Thank
having
you.
too much fun. I'm staying.
Okay, here's Rita's question. Rita says, I'm looking to save $2,000 a month come August 2024. I do not work. I'm saving towards my son's future college goal, August 2027. What are your thoughts on Acorn? I guess as a vehicle to start putting money away. I have some thoughts. I don't know. I think any savings is better than no savings. But I would say you want to try to put your money in the place where it's going to work as hard as it can for you. So I would be looking at, like, what are you getting paid on that money when you park it in Acorn? Is there someplace else that you can put that money where it's safe? Because it sounds like you're going to need that in the near future. So you don't want to tie it up where you can't get to it. You want to have access to it. But I would be more interested in asking questions like, how much are you getting paid to park your money there? And find places, high yield savings accounts, other vehicles where you will get paid the maximum amount. So your money is really working for you. And I'll let you ladies jump in there too.
Yeah, that's a good point, Sandra. What's where are you going to be? Okay, you're putting it in Acorns, but into what? Have you decided what index funds or stocks, or what are you putting it into? What's the possible return? Does it make sense? Um, those are questions that you want to, find out about. And when it comes to Acorns, just make sure that I know you check their fees, because you don't want fees to eat out the money that you're investing. And I know you do have to have a certain amount in there to avoid, high fees. Um, I usually don't suggest Acorns for. I suggest it for kids who are just starting out in college and stuff, because they don't get, if you're a college student, there are no fees, or that's what it used to be. So that really helps. But once they're done with college, I would suggest like Schwab or Fidelity or something like that. So you definitely want to check those fees at Acorns. And what exactly are you going to be investing in there? And do the research and see if it makes sense.
I Sandra dropped. I was just gonna say I agree with both of what you said. You need it in 3 years, so I would just suggest, CDs. They're 5% right now. Some returns. I mean, I know the market is doing. It went up right now recently, but the average return was like 6-7%. So the CDs, high yield savings, are pretty much where the stock market is. I'm not a big fan of Acorns either, like similar to what Alison was saying. Like, don't let all the advertisements fool you on how this is how Acorns or Robinhood or whatever these brokerage accounts are better. I would just say look at a local credit union, your local banks, and see what the rates are, and just put it in there. I really wouldn't recommend putting it into an investment account, because you do need this money within like the next 3 years. Anything less than 5 years, I don't really recommend you investing it, because you need it, you need to pull it out. So I would just look at CDs or high yield savings accounts.
Right, absolutely, Tasha, because you're subject to more market risk there, and the CDs and money market accounts, and those are great ideas. There's a site called bankrate.com that you can go to and just type in best CDs or best high yield savings accounts, and they'll pop it up for you. So you can do some research there.
I didn't want to say I don't like acorns. I don't know if we passed that question up, but it wouldn't be my first choice. I think like Acorn and Stash, I agree. I think those are good for kids if you want to start talking about financial education and how do we save. And I think those are probably better. If we're talking about adult money and wealth building, I would certainly look to some other sources. And these ladies are definitely available to help y'all with that kind of financial planning. So you don't have to guess about it. And we are not going to be able to cover every question tonight in depth. So you now have these 4 resources at your fingertips. We don't have to go outside of our community to get these questions answered. We don't have to go outside of our community to pay somebody to help us become financially literate and to help us build wealth. So please lean into these resources. I posted up another question. Katie says, does anyone have experience working for a startup tech company that pays in salary and stock options? I don't.
I do not. I'm not going to answer this question. I just want to apologize, everyone, for this light situation here. I'm in a rental in Mexico, and I've been trying to fix it and not having much luck. So my apologies for that.
Are you kidding? We appreciate your expertise. We do not care about your lighting, lady.
It's annoying. It's annoying me.
No,
It's like,
ma'am. No, I didn't even notice. If you hadn't said anything, I wouldn't have even noticed. No. All this good you're giving out for free. No, ma'am. We do not care about your lighting. But you look fantastic. You look fabulous.
And
thanks
to
so much.
answer their question, I have, and I'm a pivot to Anderson Law Firm again.
Okay, so that would
That's
be a
right.
good question for them to take.
Yeah.
Yeah, my only comment is I haven't, but you know, stock options, you know, you gotta see how this company gonna actually go public for you to benefit from taking the stock options. So just don't. I don't know where they're at in their series offerings. It's like a whole process to it. But don't, if you know you command $150,000 base salary, don't take 75,000 in salary and the other half in stock options, waiting on this company to go public. You know what I mean? So that's just my only suggestion for you. Is stock options, they don't mean anything until the company goes public. So
Okay.
Yeah, I was
Anybody
going to
else?
say research the stock or pre-IPO situation well before you make that decision.
Okay. The next question up is what's the difference between an ETF and an index fund in layman's terms? And I'll jump on that one because an ETF is an exchange traded fund. It's traded on the stock market. There are all manners of ETFs. There are ETFs that have bonds. There are ETFs that focus on tech. There are big, large cap, small cap, any manner of ETFs. And if you don't know what an ETF is, it's like a basket of funds. Instead of purchasing just Apple or Tesla as standalones, you can purchase an ETF like VTI, which is a total stock market, which is like, why choose? Why suffer? Why even put yourself through it when you can purchase everything and then you get the benefit? ETFs generally track and index. And so I don't want these two things to be confused. An index, let me stop there. That's an ETF. An index fund is pretty similar to that. The difference between the two is how they trade. You can trade in and out of an ETF all day as long as the stock market is open. And there are some ETFs that you can trade 24 hours a day. An index fund is pretty much the same. It's a basket of funds. It may track an index. They can be passively or actively managed, but an index fund is only going to trade once a day. And if there's some additional information, you all don't let me get too far off the what is accurate. An index fund like FXAIX, and this is one that we're studying in our class, and I'll go ahead and plug our Wednesday class because we have a beautiful community of Black women who get together every Wednesday. And for 2 hours, what do? We talk money. We talk ETFs, we talk about investing, we talk about trading, we talk about putting together your plan, anything that has to do with investing and trading. So schedule your one-on-one. Come on and join us. I promise you, you will not find kinder. There's no money shaming there. We've all been, we've all lived. And so wherever you are, you can know nothing or you can be a seasoned investor. We welcome you with open arms. But again, ETFs you can trade in and out of, just like you trade stocks. An index fund like FXAIX, they are priced, I want to say at the end of the day, and you trade those at the end of the day. Do you ladies want to add anything to that?
No, you got it.
Yeah, you got it, Sandra. They trade at the end of the day.
Like mutual funds. And I think if you're an older person like myself, a woman of a particular age, you remember when mutual funds were very popular. And that's kind of the same thing too. It's a bucket of funds. So why choose when you really don't have to? But again, those are priced at the end of the day. You can trade those once a day. But I would suggest that you get educated, and you could do that by joining our group. We could help you with that. We currently are studying, like we've narrowed it down to maybe 13 or 14 ETFs and index funds that would make good buys. We don't suggest that you buy anything. We just show you how to research those companies or research those funds. And then you make the decision that's best for your investment objective or your time frame or your risk tolerance. But you definitely don't have to go it alone. So if you have questions, LaTanya, see us. The link is in the chat. And then we could count you in our 1,000 Black Women Brokerage Account Challenge. And that challenge is going on all year, y'all. So join the movement. Get in there, ladies. Get in there. I'm going to switch gears really quickly, you all, because there were some questions that were emailed to me, and I don't want to neglect those questions. The ladies and I had already kind of gone over some of these, and I'm going to jump in with this one. It says, I would like to learn more about prepping adequately for both shareholder meetings and virtual meetings, like the earnings calls. Tasha, did you want to handle that? How can they prepare for shareholders meetings and earnings calls?
Make sure that you look at the company's proxy statement. So I'm assuming that you are a registered shareholder. So if you're a registered shareholder, you may receive like a proxy statement and annual report in the mail. A lot of times that's how they send them, or you can go to, I'm gonna drop the link in here, the website. I was trying to get it ready for this question. But if you go to Edgar, sec.gov, you can search whatever company you are planning to attend, like the shareholders meeting and vote for. They have to tell you what they're presenting at the shareholders meeting. So there's going to be proposals. If you own stock and you want to see how much the executives make and all of that stuff every year that's voted on, along with like the accounting firm that does their audit. So this is required. So if you are a registered shareholder, you should be getting the proxy statements, which is basically listing out the proposals, like I said, in the mail, or if you're not getting them, they probably are emailing it to you, or you can go to sec.gov, Edgar, which I dropped in the chat. If you own a stock through a brokerage company, like Fidelity or Vanguard or whatever, usually that brokerage company has the right to vote for you. So they may be getting that information to vote and not you, but you can tell the brokerage firm how you want to vote on certain proposals. So hopefully that helps. If not, we may do this again and you can ask for more different additional information.
It's so funny that that question came up. I promise you, I just dropped that website on the From Lack to Legacy community tab yesterday. It just happened. it's just another resource. So
Yeah.
yeah, you guys are getting really good information. If you need some additional information, please hit these ladies up. Please go to their websites, go to their YouTube channels, their community pages. There's a wealth of information there, and support their businesses as well.
Hey,
I have
and I was
oh,
one more thing. I'm like SEC.gov. If you are in from lag to legacy classes, that should be your best friend because all information that you really want to see, the filings they're required to file certain things with SEC. So my background is in audit, and I lived on creating this type of documents to file with the SEC. So this is where all the information that's required by the SEC where they have to file it. So how CNN and all those outlets get information is literally from the SEC, from the AKs and all this stuff that they're filing.
thank you for that. All right, ladies, I'm gonna keep it moving so that we can keep, get to as many questions as possible. Here's the next one. It says, what are some long-term ways I can organize my notes and things to get my finances in order and learn more about financial literacy? Do people buy lock boxes or keep a file drawer? Should I keep it digitally? What are your thoughts? Allison, Tasha?
Um, all of it. I mean, you might want to have a lockbox for your will, your deed, your important documents. Maybe you'd like to keep a little cash in the house, you know. Um, you may have a cabinet, like a file cabinet that locks, that you can put your those same documents and your insurance policies and different things like that. I also do Excel spreadsheets. I am old school, so I'm also writing things in a notebook. Or I made a little book. I created a little book that you can write all your account numbers, your all your important information that family members might want to have in case of anything. Um, you just want to have a backup, and if you put it in a lockbox, a fireproof lockbox, nothing wrong with that.
Tasha? Oh, you're muted, Tasha. Okay.
My bad. I was looking for the app I use because I can't remember. You get to see the name of the symbols all the time and forget what it's called. But one password seven app. I have all my information in there. So before I left and moved abroad, like all my login information and all that stuff, like you can add like trusted people on there and give them a passcode to access it, and you can see if they're looking at your information or not. But like your all your login accounts to your online accounts and stuff, I store it there. I would say if you keep things hard copy, just remember if you put it in the lockbox, you have to keep going to the lockbox to re-update the information that you're putting in there. And banks do not, when you get a lockbox, they tell you can't keep cash in there. So they're not responsible. It's a list of things. I used to work at a bank, I can't remember it. But just keep that in mind when you get a lockbox for certain valuables, like you can't put cash in a lockbox. That much I do remember. And I think the big thing is too, it kind of goes back to estate planning. So work with Ashley on like where to have your documents. Like, you know what I mean? This is just a haphazard way to have online access to my accounts or whatever. If I want someone to get to me logging in or whatever. But like honestly, if you really want it done right, a path to what to do, that's where estate planning comes in.
That is absolutely
Some attorneys actually will give you a copy of your documents online. You can save them to, a micro storage or something like that. I like to have the backup to the backup. I'm conflicted because LastPass was hacked the other day, so that's why I'm a little conflicted with those like storage, those type of storage for passwords and stuff. I even have like a little travel book that I carry with me with stuff like that. That's when I travel around. And I have like another copy at home and things like that. I'm a little conflicted about the digital methods. I was shocked when I heard that LastPass was hacked, but
Working in tech, everything's hackable. Your book that you carry around is hackable.
it can be stolen,
LastPass,
right? Yeah.
right? And then you could lose it yourself. So I'm, of course, a millennial, so I don't have a fear of the digital space. We are actually in Q2 going to be offering clients the option to store their estate plan on the blockchain. So it's actually a very cost-effective way to store your documents, but it's also important to know the state laws. Arkansas requires that your will be an original. Texas does also. But some states don't require any of your estate planning documents to be in the original format. So you can have your entire plan digital. So when it comes to those things, it's important to know what's permissible in your state. And also, when you do a safe deposit box at the bank, you need to remember to include someone who can access it at your death or in your incapacity, because if it's only in your name, it doesn't matter if they have the key. The bank's not letting you in if your name isn't on it. And that's a misconception that people have. They think, oh, well, I have the key, I can go open it. No. So storing it in a place where you can easily access it is the most important part. And then also telling the people that are involved. So I hear it all the time. I have clients that say, well, I don't want to tell so-and-so about my estate plan because they might kill me. If they're going to kill you, why are they in your estate plan? Answer me that. So having it and no one knowing about it doesn't help you. So
That was a deep one. I mean, but I get
Right.
it. That was deep because I mean, come on, I'm a mom. This is a joke, but I do have one child that I would rather be the overseer. You know what I'm saying? There's one child in particular that I know will follow through and do just what I ask. And then I got one who might go to Vegas. And I'm like, wait a minute. I don't want you in charge of the button because you might go to Vegas. You might be like, you know what? Put my mom out of her misery and let's divvy this cash up and let's get on with it. I get that. These are the kinds of things that we need to talk about, though, you all, seriously. We can laugh about them now because we're in this setting. But that I use 1Password. I'm really surprised to hear, not even surprised, but like one of the people in the gallery said, anything that's digital is hackable. I have 1Password, and I know that many women in this community travel. Some of us have retired and we've moved abroad or we travel abroad. And I'm trying to do exactly everything that you guys have said, make sure that my children know how to have access to all of that stuff. I check to make sure the beneficiaries are who I want them to be. And they understand that this is what you should do in the event that I'm incapacitated. But I still stand by what I said. There's one I know will go to Vegas, and there's one I know that would do and stand and do the right thing. And so I've made those elections ahead of time so that if that time comes, it makes it easier for them. I understand. I know that they're both responsible, y'all. I'm just kidding. But I know who I want. I know who would be able to step in and still be emotionally regulated and not be thrown off that something has happened to my mom. And so those are the hard conversations that we're encouraging you to have now, especially, I'm not getting any.
Along those lines, Samira, it's, your kids. I tell my clients day one, your family, your kids. However, comma, as my friend likes to say, don't put your child in charge of their siblings.
Mm-hmm.
That's not always appropriate. If you know you are leaving some very specific instructions and you also know your kids don't get along, don't do that to me. Because I am going to charge you appropriately. I'm gonna charge them appropriately. So you don't want me to have your money because that's why you're doing estate planning. So fair is not always the best policy. Let's say that now. Do not leave a house to 5 children if those 5 children do not get along and don't agree. Don't do it. Stop it. Stop it. Because it just creates problems. If you have a child that's already living in that house, why are we not giving that child a house? We can add some rights of first refusal after the fact, but don't leave that house to 5 kids. Don't leave that house to 2 kids if they don't get along. Stop it. Stop it now. And I said it. If somebody asked me, say Ashley said it. That is why that's my username on it. What Ashley said was, don't do that. So also the comment said everything digital is hackable. No, everything is hackable. The reason LastPass was hacked was because it is the most used password manager. So the only reason the others haven't been hacked yet is because it's not a challenge for hackers. So I post every other month, every other week, every other day. Somebody please hack Sally Mae ASAP, real quick. But you know why they haven't done it yet? Not enough of us are talking about it. But everything is hackable. Just like I was saying, your notebook, you write everything in a notebook. That's not secure. Because what happens if you get sick? You have a minor illness and somebody's in your house and they find your notebook.
No, I have a copy. I have another area which I have everything written down, which the important people in my life, they know how to get to that. My little notes, I encrypt them for my own eyes, and I just travel around with that because it just helps me.
Right.
But that
was really for that comment that I saw, that we have this fear of the digital space because we think it's hackable. You should enter it into, I know it's hackable. So let me follow some best practices. Stop using 1, 2, 3, 4 as the password. Stop using the same password for everything. Right. Best practices.
Someone should do a little seminar on that. Best practices for your digital life.
Thank you for next month's topic. And you all are welcome to come back anytime you want. The idea for Money After Dark is just this. These are some things that you know, if you are spending money and you're talking to your financial planner, there are probably some things that you would prioritize before you would ask about how should I safely store my passwords. But it's still stuff that we need to talk about. And there are things that we need to talk about before something bad happens. And you all, that leads beautifully into my next question. And this one is really personal. It hits home for me. We talked about this. And this question came from a viewer, and it says, has anyone ever had a family member sabotage your finances or use your personal identifying information to interfere with your finances? And how do you protect yourself when your financial status has been compromised by a family member? Oh, Lord. I thought I was prepared to talk about this, but it has happened to me. And I'm going to tell you this, it's the worst thing in the world. I feel funny even talking about it now, because to sit with my family member or to even say those words out loud, you know, nobody's going to say, yep, that's right, I sure did that. There's always this, you know, I didn't do it, that didn't happen. Well, let's just say something happened. I left the country, and I think this is important for our community in particular, because so many of the women in this Exodus community and the women that we interface with are travelers. I was away from my home for almost 3 months. And of course, you put somebody in charge of getting the mail and all of that stuff. Ladies, when I came back from being abroad for 3 months, my mailbox was chugged full of fake applications for unemployment. Somebody had gotten there was one in there with my name on it. There was all kind of shenanigans that had gone on. Turns out somehow somebody got access to my personal information. Now this is YouTube, and so I don't want to point fingers. It's that kind of especially when you're talking about family and friends, that had to be somebody that was close to me that got a hold to all of that identifying information. I think I know how it happens. And I will just say this, here's a precaution. I didn't know, I learned this the hard way. You should safeguard mail, bank statements, anything that has your name, your account numbers. I didn't know this. And this is how I got caught. I had a cookout, like we all do. At my house, I was getting ready to leave and we were celebrating. Instead of, in the process of, getting the house ready to leave, I was shredding mail. Everything that was shredded, I had disposed of, but the stack that I hadn't gotten to, I bundled it up and put it on the stairs, shut the door, and just assumed nobody would open up that door to my upstairs bedroom. Well, I left all the mail with everything in it any crook could want. And so I'm not sure exactly, because I will never know exactly how my information got compromised, but I have a good feeling that I had left everything right there, everything that I was in the process of shredding. And I mean everything. It had everything. It had everything you needed. My driver's license, copies of all kinds of stuff that I was shredding, thinking I'm doing the right thing, but I slipped up and didn't secure that information. So here's a word to the wise. Lock everything up. I don't care who it is. I don't care if you have friends coming through, workers coming through, if you're entertaining. Secure your information, because you can become the victim of identity theft. And now you have this whole, it's a whole nasty ball of how do you get out of it. It is costly, it's emotionally charged. It can tear a family apart. It can tear a friendship apart, because now, and for me, the residual was, now I'm so careful, but I'm also untrusting. It kind of damaged that part of me that would open my home up and be happy to receive people. And now I'm looking like, could you be the one? Could you? So do yourself a favor. If you can avoid that situation at all costs. I never thought, it never dawned on me in a million years that somebody would tap into or could utilize that information, because I would never do that. So you think people think like you? Not necessarily the case. I don't know if anyone's had an experience like that, but if you've had that experience, or if you have some insight, are there some things that you can share with our audience that will help them safeguard themselves from identity theft? And how do you recover? It's not just the financial recovery, it's an emotional piece to that as well.
I have been fortunate enough not to have that happen to me, but I would just suggest that you freeze your credit, just in general, unless even I ain't gonna say unless, even if you're trying to get a home or car, you can have a code to unfreeze your credit. It's one way to safeguard your social security number. But I hate that happened to you, Sandra. I just have from that financial perspective, like just freeze your credit, with each of the three bureaus. And then, be ready if you do see it. And if it's someone like, are you considering, be prepared to sometimes to actually expunge it. You may have to go to court and file charges against them. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, that's a tough thing. It was more than just it's like you're traumatized twice. You're financially traumatized, and then emotionally you're traumatized. And it sounds innocuous, like, oh well, it happens all the time. No, if you've never experienced it, just having those conversations and just bridging the subject with your family members that, yes, this happened to me, and I think it might be such and such. It was, it's a terrible thing. So yeah, please protect yourself. And somebody said in the comment, I remember this too. Remember back in the day when you would go to your grandmother's house for Thanksgiving and they would throw all the coats and purses in a room? Please don't do that, people. Keep your purse. I'm sorry. Who was the comic? Is it Cheryl Underwood? She keeps her purse with her tucked under her arm. That's me now. I'm sorry. It's not a good look. And you make everybody uncomfortable, but I would rather you be uncomfortable than me find myself in a situation where I have to undo all this foolishness. So ladies, tuck your purses, or better yet, don't even take a purse. Take what you need.
Your debit card. Stop it. Don't use your debit card anywhere. If you have the ability, capacity, and are not triggered by credit spending, let me add that disclaimer in there. You should be using a credit card and then paying it off every month. Let me add that. I see y'all looking at me. And pay it off or at least go and get a prepaid card and put it on there, but do not carry your debit card around. Do not use your debit card online. I know most banks now offer disposable numbers. So I carry a purse, but it generally doesn't have any money in it. So if the purse is worth more than what's in it, but stop it. I have an alert on every account I have for any purchase over $1. I'm getting a text message. I'm getting an email. It's going to alert me that somebody has used the card. That somebody's usually me, but for $1.
Yep. I did most of that stuff. I had to do the credit freezes. Now I have alerts. I have two-step authentication. There were a lot of things I had to put in place as a result of that experience. So if you can do that ahead of time, you will save yourself, and you could possibly just save a relationship as well, because nobody.
I think she will be coming back. Ladies, did y'all see any questions that y'all wanted to grab in the chat? I'm trying to scroll back up and see. So far, it's just been commenting on what everything we've been saying.
I think most of the questions have been answered from the chat.
Yeah,
So far. I've
So
got a question for Ashley, if you guys don't mind. With the blockchain storage, is it like a private sector blockchain or a governmental blockchain?
It is a private sector blockchain.
Okay, good, cool. Thanks.
And then, so I would say for me, like I know before I left and went abroad, I did change it to have like virtual mail, to kind of like make sure I could see everything that was coming to me and not going to anyone's houses. As a one safety precaution. I know that we've been expatting, bouncing around. Did you want to share any other tips on how to safeguard information? You have any?
I just have the post office hold my mail.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was gonna say. I let them hold it and I don't go pick it up. They send it back to the company.
I was gonna say, how long do they hold your mail?
No clue. They send it back to the company.
Oh, okay.
I've had them hold it for like 6 months.
If somebody is mailing me as a bill, I don't want it.
Okay. Okay. No, I got you.
How do you ladies feel about traveling mailboxes? Because now that I'm on the road, I now have a traveling mailbox where when something comes in, they scan it. I know immediately they will destroy it. But sometimes I'm concerned, like, who are these workers at this traveling mailbox place?
I literally just asked this when you dropped off. We on the same wavelength. I literally just asked.
Should I be trusting somebody I don't know? How do I know you not?
I love this topic. I want to hear what you guys have to say.
Well, the thing is that I strongly, like me right now, even my mail, most of my stuff is like online already. And so my mail is mainly flyers, like some promos, anything that I get. And I'm like, why am I getting these in the mail? And it could be a bill. Like, I'm just going to try to sign up for online billing. So really reduce the amount of important information that you're getting by mail as much as possible, especially if you're getting ready to get out of the country for a longer period of time. Personally, I'm lucky. So when I was down in Mexico for 7 months, I literally, I guess, like, how do they call it? I think it's address transfer. So I transfer all of my mail to my sister's address. So everything that was supposed to come to my mail was going to her, and then she'll let me know whatever she gets. And I'm like, okay, you can open this, you can leave this. So I work like that. But when I'm going to be moving abroad permanently, I will be really trying as much as possible, because I won't have an address here anymore, and I don't want anyone to be dealing with my mail. So That'll be the first thing. One thing that also is really important, especially when you're getting outside of the country, it's good just to let, like, your the banks, anyone that you deal with, that like your credit cards company and whatnot, know that you're not going to be in the country, because sometimes, especially for our debit card or credit card, we may have a second card holder. They just have our card in case something happens. But if something if something happens and they don't tell you and they start using your card, while they're in country, but you already have a note on file saying that this person is out of the country for 6 months. So technically, their credit card should not be used in country, right? So that's a red flag for them. So they can catch it, and of course you will see it, but it's something that can, because that's the same thing as having a joint bank account, or like when you have a second card holder on your bank. That person has access to your credit, like or to your bank account. And so you really want to make sure that when you're leaving the country, that nothing can happen, either with your card, with your credit. On top of freezing, just let the credit card companies or your banks know, I'm not going to be in country for 6 months. And so if you see any transaction from me, in country, definitely something is happening.
Before you move to the next question, Sandra, I will say some people must have an address. They cannot use the traveling mailbox. They can't use a P.O. box. Get a registered agent. We offer this service. So in that instance, you can trust a law firm, because if they do something bad, you can, their license is on the line. So it's worth the fee. We have, clients that live abroad, but because they receive federal retirement, they must have a physical address to receive federal mail. So if you are in that situation, or you just want to be able to sue somebody and take their license if they mess their stuff up, get a registered agent.
Thank you
And
for
then
that. I
also,
didn't know that was an
don't put
option.
people's names on your bank accounts, because that subjects your money to their creditors. Don't do that.
Y'all got that one for free.
Yeah,
Don't-
thank you for that.
Yeah.
Registered agent, yes.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next question. It says, when you go to the doctor's office, can you refuse to give them photocopies of your social security card or the number? Is that right? You
No.
cannot.
No.
You can. You have to give that information over?
To a doctor, yes. To the hospital, it depends. So private, because doctors are usually private entities. So they are entitled to guarantee payment. And in America, payment is guaranteed with your social security number.
Wow. Okay. Well, there you have it. Okay. I'm going to switch to one of the questions that we got ahead of time. And this is a simple one. So you guys forgive us if we're kind of all over the place, but the questions are coming in kind of all over the place too. This one says, oh, this is an easy one. I can do this one. It says, what's the difference between day trading, Forex, what's the difference between trading Forex and day trading? That's an easy one. Forex can be day traded so let me start here. When you're trading, there are three basic types of trading. You can be a scalper. That's someone who gets in and gets out really quickly. A day trader is someone who opens up a position and they close it the same day. You can be a swing trader. That's someone who opens up a position and they hold it overnight. You can hold it for a week. You can hold it for even longer. Long-term trades like that are called leaps, where they can extend for a year or beyond. So day trading and swing trading just happen to be the time frame. You can day trade or swing trade Forex, ETFs, stocks, cryptocurrency. So you really are talking about two different concepts. It's what you're trading and the time frame in which you're trading it. So me, for example, and the ladies in our community, we're primarily day traders, and some of us swing trade. And we primarily focus on stocks and options. I don't know if anybody in our community trades Forex, commodities, but there are all kinds of trust me, if it's sold in America, you could probably trade it. If they have a market for it, you can probably trade it. And you'll just have to decide for yourself, are you looking to get in and get out relatively quickly, or are you more patient and you're willing to let a trade work itself out, whether overnight or long term? But trades always have a beginning and an expiration date, and that's how they differ from your long term investments. So your long-term investments would be something that you're looking to hold for 5 years, 10 years, because you're looking for growth. You're looking for retirement income. So those are long-term holds. But day trading would be grouped with those three time frames, like a scalper who gets in quickly, day trader is less than 24 hours, and a swing trader is someone who trades with an expiration date in a longer time frame. I hope that answers your question. Does anybody want to add anything to that? Okay, I'm going to just roll through these really quickly, ladies, because we do have to wrap up. I only have this room for 2 hours. The next question says, when you roll over, and I think we may have touched on this, it says, when you roll over an investment retirement account, are you selling funds from the old account and buying new funds offered in the new investment account? I'm not sure about that question, because
It,
I don't know anything about
you
rolling over.
could, it depends on where you're rolling it to. If you're rolling it to some place that has the same investments, you're not selling any. But if you may have to sell some, it depends. But you can check to the new place, check into the new place to see, what they have, talk to someone there, and see what exactly you would have to do if
Okay,
you roll it over.
this question kind of piggybacks on that one, so I'm gonna toss it in because I think it's all in the same vein. It says, would it be wise to roll over money from a Roth IRA to a brokerage account, and what are the pros and cons? That's not my area.
Tasha, did you answer that already?
I'm like, I can't remember. I'm not getting brain fog at this point. Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
It's a pretty simple one. It says, well, I don't know. I think it's simple because it's only a few words, but it could be very complex. Would it be wise to roll over money from a Roth IRA to a brokerage account? And what are the pros and cons?
I don't see the benefit because if you have a Roth IRA, that's you own that in your own individual account, meaning you're not going through a third, like your employer. So I would not see the benefit. I'm not sure if they may need to add more to the question. Why would you take from a Roth IRA to a regular brokerage when you have all that access to invest in so many things in a Roth IRA? So I would say no, just Roth IRA to a regular brokerage account. It doesn't make any sense. I just want to say this about Roths. So the benefits is that once you contribute to your Roth, you can take those contributions out after 5 years. You can take them out anytime without paying any penalties or taxes because you already put it in after tax money, right? Another benefit is that you can take it after 5 years. It's good if you have a child, if they're working, if you have a business and you actually have them like with actual descriptions, you're actually paying them or whatever, you can put that in as when they're kids. It can be a way for them to have college funds because you can take the money out after 5 years, not the earnings, but the contributions out, right? So there's so many benefits to the Roth. And on my channel, I talk about Roth all the time. And the benefit is like you are investing into the stock market. So if you're new to hearing about Roth, you keep hearing IRAs, Roth, 401k. This is all different terminology for investing in the stock market. You just can't pull it out without certain penalties if you don't do it at a certain age, in layman's terms. So when you have a Roth IRA, you can put it into mutual funds, ETFs, individual stocks, all types of things. So if you already have that option, there's no point in rolling it over to a IRA or a regular brokerage account once it's already in a Roth.
Thank you. That was a very
Right.
thorough answer.
Yes. And also, just like H&D Broad just said, It's your Roth IRA is a tax advantage account. So you want to consider that too.
Okay. And I'm going to try and wrap it up. We've got 2 questions, ladies, and then I want you to just give your contact information one more time. And then we're going to bid everybody a fondue. This second to last question says, do you recommend holding a bit of everything, such as an index fund, ETFs, and individual stocks? Lastly, what are your thoughts on target date funds? I'll let you guys jump in and then I'll tell you what I think.
It all depends. Personal finance is personal, and it all depends on your picture, your goals, your time horizon. It all depends. Diversification is a good thing, but just the same, it all depends.
I think everybody on the panel will probably say the same thing. I was going to say diversification is always a plus, but you want to consider your personal circumstances. So I don't know that you could give a blanket answer for that one.
I have one thing to add. I personally don't like target date funds. Usually people invest in those when they are with their employer. I just always encourage to look to see if there's any other options, because with target date funds, it's basically, assuming you're retiring at 65 or 67. And so it's really aggressive when you're younger, and it kind of tears off as you get older. And they tend to have a lot more fees than if you have the option to have an index fund in your 401k. So I'm not a big fan of target date funds. So just look at what the expense ratio is, all of that in your 401k.
Okay. Anybody before we take this last question? All right. The last question is, what type of attorney handles registered agents? Ashley, we'll let you
Usually for a business planning attorney, if they handle business formations, things like that, they will usually offer registered agent services.
Okay. Well, ladies, I can't say thank you enough. I feel like we better put a pin in it because the questions keep coming. What that says to me is that we have women in our midst that are interested in this information. They want to know. And so there's an audience for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to invite everybody in the gallery, please go check out Tasha Journey's channel. It's not only informative, but I promise you it's entertaining as well, because she's had some things happen in her travels you will want to see.
All right, she froze while talking about me, so I'm gonna hop in. Please go check out my channel. I've been to 19 countries solo, 5 continents. So you'll see me traveling with my mom in Egypt and Australia. Then you see me with friends in Colombia. Me not liking Spain solo and not liking Bali. So all types of travel adventures and just my path to financially getting there. So I've been all up and through the chat. So replay gang, if you go to the live chat stream, you'll see my name, Tasha Journeys, and just click. And then I don't know, Ashley, if you want to go next to close this out.
Sure. You all can find me everywhere at whatashley.said, or search my name, Ashley Steps. There's only one black one. I enjoyed you all. Your questions were wonderful. And I will pass it off to Simi again.
Thanks, Ashley. Yes, definitely. Check out my YouTube channel. I literally just finished a 30-day YouTube challenge. So from January 14th to February 12th, I was posting a video daily. I survived this. It was work. It was work, but it was a challenge that I actually gave myself. So if you go, there is a playlist there that is 30 in 30 that you can just play and listen to all of those 30 videos. I talk about budgeting. I talk about investing. I also talk about becoming single mother by choice. I talk about generational wealth and what I would love Black parents to teach their kids early enough so we can get better at managing money and being better at building wealth. And of course, I talk a lot about investing. Toward the end, I did, I guess I got a little bit philosophical, kind of like talking about the precious things in life. And you guys will be able to see my transformation. I think I started the videos, I had time to put makeup on, and towards the end, I was just like, y'all just gonna see me without makeup because I need this video to happen. So that's what it is. But yeah, so thank you so much for being here, everybody. Almost 2 hours now, and of course, thank you, Sandra, for hosting. This has been wonderful, and the ladies as well for being co-panelists.
Thank you all. Did everybody get a chance to give out their contact
Um,
information?
Congratulations, Sam, on your YouTube challenge. Awesome work. And thanks everybody for coming in and spending the time with us tonight. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you, panel. This was so much fun. It was really good. And if you want to follow me, you can follow me at Asset Maven on Instagram. I think Marilyn had put it in the chat somewhere along the line. And hope to see you guys again. Good night.
Yay.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies, and thank you for celebrating my birthday with me today. Somebody asked me, somebody in the chat said, no birthday. I'm not, you know how I spend my birthday, you guys, and I do this every year. I really like taking some time to myself, reflecting. Of course, there was birthday cake. Y'all know there was. Let me just confess. I bought 2 birthday cakes. I brought one 2 weeks ago. I ate that joker. Then I bought another one. I was like, okay, you got to have a cake. I ate that one too. I wasn't buying a 3rd birthday cake. I was like, you know what? You've celebrated enough. But I did take some time to just reflect, you know, on how grateful I am. I'm grateful for this community. I'm grateful for my health, you know, just the privilege to be able to travel, to share space with women of this caliber. These are women who look like me. It is such an honor. So I want to say thank you all. That's how I spent my birthday. I can't think of a better way. I mean, okay, well, maybe if he had some muscles, you know, that would have been okay too. But since he wasn't here, I'm not, you know, we're not crying over no spilled milk. I still had a beautiful day. It was fulfilling. It was everything that I wanted it to be. I spent it with friends and family, and we did something productive to help the community. So, you know, to God be the glory. I have no complaints. You'll never hear me complain. You'll never hear me complain. And on that note, I'm going to invite you finally to please come and join us at From Lack to Legacy. We meet every Wednesday evening. It's a beautiful community of Black women just like this. We come from all walks of life. We have all kinds of talents, and we are just a wealth of information. But more than anything, these are just nice people that you don't mind spending 2 hours with a week talking about money, and help us reach our goal of getting 1,000 Black women into the stock market. I don't care if you do it with me. I don't care if you do it with Sam. I don't care if you do it with Alison. We just need to move our feet. There's no excuse for us not being in the market and making our money work for us. We've got everything that we need to do that. And on that note, I'm just going to say good night to everybody and thank you so much. Ladies, if you'll hold on for 1 second, I'm going to disconnect this call just to circle back with you all.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Check out the description box for all of their contact information, and go like, subscribe, share their channels, and let's just keep the good vibes going. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you, Marilyn.
Is she not a gem? None of this works without Marilyn, just so y'all know. Marilyn knows the truth. This whole show doesn't even go if Marilyn doesn't wake me up. Thank you, sister. I love you.